You made the claim that there would not be or could not be any objective moral law were it not the case that God existed. You made that claim. I didn't hear a defense of the claim, and I'm curious what that defense would be in the light of the fact that so far as the history of philosophical reflection on that issue goes, I think it's fair to say that the great majority of objectivist theories of morality do not invoke any deity whatsoever.
I'm really very curious to see where you would peg your objective moral values outside of God. I'd love for a Hindu and a Muslim and a Buddhist to be sitting here and seeing if they would agree with your version of a transcendent ethic, apart from a clearly stated objective moral framework to which a Hindu and a Muslim and a Buddhist would agree, who themselves would say they have a completely different natural law operating within themselves. Gautama Buddha, for example, who was non-theistic, his view of ethics would be radically different to Kant's view of ethics, who was trying to also frame it in a non-transcendent framework. So I would assume that when you say an objective moral value, that it is something that rises above you and is a common point of reference for all of humanity to refer and by which to order their lives. Am I right in assuming that?
Well, since I've been asked those questions, I'll be glad to respond very briefly. First of all, it had better not be the case that the criterion here is whether I can get everybody to agree with me, because you won't get everybody to agree with you either. If you ask me what purely naturalistic basis, what the purely naturalistic basis for an ethics could be, of course I have any number of theories to choose from. I can tell you that my own view is a type of Aristotelian naturalism, if that tells you very much. There are deontic theories that speak directly to the question of obligation. There are theories that say that it is reason itself that tells you what you are obliged to do, what you're obligated to do. Both of you, I assume, are at least to a considerable extent quite familiar with those theories. It won't do to settle that issue simply to say that the only theory that seems to satisfy you is one which invokes a deity. One needs some sort of reason to think that such a theory is in fact better. I happen to think that divine command theories are extraordinarily difficult to defend for a variety of reasons.
Can I just how is that objective?
How's what objective?
How is your Aristotelian view an objective framework?
It is a framework that depends on objective facts about the nature of human beings and human life.
That's not an objective viewpoint.
It's as objective as it possibly could be. There just are objective facts about that.
No, I think you're arguing in a circle. You have assumed the nature is self-explanatory.
No,
a Hindu or a Muslim would say to you, or a Christian would say to you, no, the human nature issue is not settled.
Oh, it may not be settled, and to the extent to which it's not settled, it may not
then
be
it's not
entirely
objective, is it?
It may not be entirely known what the objective moral values are. But then Christians haven't settled among themselves what the objective moral values are either.
I just think my point still stands. I don't hear you presenting an objective framework.